Time for a Simpsons video. We're going to talk about the recent episode, which I don't remember the name of the episode. I forgot. I kind of think I know it, but I forgot. But anyways, yeah, we're dealing with Carl Carlson. Apparently, he is getting a new makeover, and it gave him a backstory, so now we know exactly where he came from. But I have a problem, and this problem always resurfaced itself, especially when it came to a review I did some years ago. Even though it's kind of funny, that was the time where YouTube, when you upload, there could be a moment where it goes, and it's like, oh, dang it. Because so many people watched it, but sadly, when I had to do a re-upload, not that much. But anyways, we're going to talk about the case of the two Carls. The two universes and how they clash, and now how you can have tales of where it's like, which universe is which. So we have two universes going on here. We have, and of course I already talked about the universes, but I like two theories. Theories one is that every single decade there's a new universe of The Simpsons. But I also like the idea of where there's two universes, maybe even three, that are main, and it's like you can pick and choose which episode goes which location, which actual universe. But this one actually just brings you into a good bombshell, unless I missed something, which of course I will redact it or at least do some retraction in the community post. So make sure you check the community post out and type in The Simpsons, because if I have to say something, I will put it in the community post instead of making a video, because videos delay, man. Videos delay. But anyways, in this episode, we get Carl to finally have a steady girlfriend that isn't Lenny's sister. It's like, yeah, we have Lenny's sister, and I guess he had like one or two other girlfriends, but other than that, we don't really know. I don't really know for sure. So he actually gets a steady girlfriend, but the thing is that he has to be down. He got to be black and down, and he doesn't know because he's Icelandic. And in comes the first thing where it's like, and we got to divide when it comes to Carl. Like I said, there's two Carls. Yeah, the Carl that we're getting to know now, and the Carl that was in the very beginning. Carl in the very beginning has a sister, which we're never still addressing that. This would have been a good time in this episode to be like, yeah, and his sister, and we finally will talk about the fact that his sister as well was adopted, or his sister was also adopted somewhere else, but they found each other. Something like that. You know, it just takes like, 2 minutes to have that conversation where it's like, there we go. Just a little conversation where it's like, yeah, it's like, I understand what you're feeling, brother. Because I was in ... blah, 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 I also had to look into our family. And she's like, I didn't really get much because I didn't know where to start. And it's like, well, then they both do it together. It would have been more like, instead of just Carl's story, it'll been Carl and his sister's story. But mainly Carl, but at least his sister also gets to know as well. That would have been cool. Or at least have his sister work in the freaking Soul House. At least have that. At least have his sister knows what the family's about, and she's just being a jerk, being like, yeah, well, you don't call me that often. You don't really see each other. We only saw each other that one time when you wanted to double date. I have nothing to say to you, brother. He's like, yeah, I have nothing to say to you, brother. And she's like, wait, that's your sister? It's like, yeah, so his sister most likely no, but she's not going to help him at all. He needs to go on his search alone. That would have worked. That would just been like, 2 seconds, 1 minute for his sister to just reveal that, hey, she knows, but she's not helping you. You haven't talked to her for so many years. Don't know why. Only calling her because you need something. And even then, before that, nothing. And of course, because of the Icelandic adoption thing, the messed up part is, how did you get to Springfield? You were in high school together. You were actually kids, and you all were actually friends. Mo, Lenny, Carl, Homer. You all were friends in that one episode where we found out that what happened to Waylon Smithers Sr. So that's when we get some messed up rips of where it's like, this universe is horrible, this universe is horrible, this universe is horrible. And we could easily get to 3 universes, because even then, when it came to their 4 friends, they don't even mention about Lenny or Carl's sisters, which you could chalk it up being like, hey, do you really talk about your sister that much? Do you talk about your siblings that much every single time? No. So it's like, it could still be 2 universes, but it could actually be 3. And that's where it just gets messed up, mishap being like, well, then how did he actually spend time with Homer, Carl, and Mo? And when it came to the Icelandic episode, the messed up part is he said, we're not friends, we're drinking buddies. And it's like, you can't say that when you grew up together. Yes, perhaps sometimes you guys weren't together because, well, Homer also has Barney as a bro. And, well, Lenny and Carl most likely were still together as best buds. So it's like, they broke off in high school apparently, but they stick together eventually. They eventually got back together. So it's really messed up where it's like, and he says they're not friends. And it's like, what the heck? It's like, dude, it's like, there's no way how the Carl that we know that isn't Icelandic would have done this to his friends. Only the newer version that for some reason they came up with had this. And it's like, I get the story was good, but did you really need to do this to Carl's character? As for this episode, this was good because, well, it just shows that perhaps what happened, which they would have to lean towards his sister even more, which, let me try to remember, I think his sister might have been the same age, might have been older, make her older. And so it turns out that instead, his mom and dad died, but his sister was the one that had to take care of him. And she had to grow up quick, or they have a grandmother that took care of him. Something like that. It's like, you could at least do something like that, where it's like, there you go. And he didn't really like being with his grandma. His grandma really made it to the point where it's like, he didn't want to know about his family because his grandma's not a real nice person or something like that. And then most likely at age 18, when his sister was able to get out of there, she took him with him. And talk about Carl's an ingrate, which you kind of showed that when it came to Icelandic a little bit. You could still have him being a jerk. You could still have him being a jerk to his sister. And his sister works in a soul house. And his sister looks at him and is like, you ungrateful N-word. You're ungrateful Negro. Seriously, you only came to me that one time when you wanted a double date, and you haven't talked to me ever since you were able to actually get a job. Since you got a job, you got out, never talked to me again until that double date, and then after that, nothing. So it's like, that works. That works perfectly well. That works great. Also in this universe, apparently, I guess the pen pals doesn't exist, too. Yeah, in this new universe, this other universe, because Carl actually is bowling with them, and I'm trying to remember. I think pen pals were different. Yeah, I think it was Mo, Otto, Homer, and Mr. Burns, which Mr. Burns was the 5th one. Oh yeah, I think Apu was a part of them too. So it's like, yeah. But Homer did love to bowl, and I don't remember if everyone else went to bowl with him. Maybe. I think that might have been true, but he's wearing a pen pal jersey, but and who knows, maybe they just reinitiated pen pals, but notice Homer got rid of his bowling shirt. Yeah, in that episode when it came to the guy who's a fruit. I'm kidding. Yeah, the guy actually is really enthused about retro gear. So it's like, it's really crazy where it's like, yeah, but he got rid of his shirt. I don't think we saw Homer bowl, did we? Either way, I guess he could have got a brand new shirt. They all could have had brand new shirts. That's like that. But in the end of the day, when it comes to Carl, we have 2 versions of Carl. And it's good that we know one Carl, and Carl's really been flushed out, which is great. That is awesome. That is great. The only messed up part is you built on the one that was brand spanking new versus the one that was retro, the original version. And you could say that, the original version, he got built up, but it's like, yeah, but still though, there's a lot of freaking issues. How did he hang out with Homer, Moe, and Lenny when he was a kid if he was in Iceland? How did he actually go to high school with Homer, Barney, and Lenny if he was in Iceland? When did he get to America? It's like, yes, you did so well with Carl, but sadly you now brought more freaking questions, man. There's no way. I guess you could say if we're trying to pull a freaking audible, but I doubt it, where you could still use my idea of where it's like he moved in with his sister. His sister was adopted by someone else, and eventually they contacted each other, holy crap, and he moved in with her, thus why he's in Springfield. That's how he got into Springfield, when he was a teenager and he just left his parents, which that sounds bad too. So I don't know what to tell you because it's hard to figure it out. You built him up. Great. You made him a part of a black cowboy family dynasty. Great. But the messed up part still, it's like, yeah, happy Black History Month, even though it's gone now. But still though, it's a good honor, but you had more to freaking deal with. And I understand that they don't need to do it. But if you really want to do something, you got to actually make sure that all of it is finally addressed. Which they addressed some of it, but they didn't address the fact of, where's his sister? It's like, yeah, his sister don't exist. And who was that girl those freaking episodes ago? I'm pretty sure he does have a sister. Iceland? Well, then how did he actually hang out with Homer? Was it like a summer where they had a vacation in America? And that summer he met Lenny, Carl, Homer, and Moe? Maybe. And then how about high school? There's no way how they went to America for like 4 years and then he decided to stay while they returned back to Iceland. It's a messed up pickle that's like, dude, yeah, guys, you build them up, which I would still be like, okay, we can definitely use this stuff. We can use this stuff. We could definitely use it to build him up still. We could definitely use it that he's black cowboys and stuff like that. We can use it. We could definitely use it. But it's like the real Carl, the original Carl. We can use that, but we have to ask who raised him. I bet chances are at the very beginning, his parents aren't dead. And he might have a sister, might not have a sister. But yeah, they did a gag thing where it's like, he has a sister, though. And Lenny doesn't even, it's like, yeah, we don't even know about freaking Lenny. Lenny has issues, though. He lost some teeth, had to put his teeth back in, has a rhubarb or a bar in his head. He had a penny, a quarter or something lodged into his head again. Yeah, Lenny just has some freaking messed up moments. He's not Mole Man, but still, though, he has messed up moments. If you're going to do an episode on Lenny, which, I think, no, Lenny went with Homer that one time where they actually ditched their world. They ditched their lives and became oil rustlers, I guess we can say that. But I think this is a good step forward. But with this good step forward, just like the Icelandic episode, it's a huge fallback because it's like, then you have more things to explain. And I don't know. It's like, I have no idea how they're going to do it. And I'm pretty sure they won't do it. Just like how Dr. Hibbert has a twin brother. And yet you have MD Major Dummy, his father, showing up. And it's like, his father is in that nursing home. But yet he doesn't mention about, oh, you have a twin brother. Who knew? But anyways, yeah. It's a good thing that they did, definitely. But it was built on the other stuff. And I'm like, I would have preferred they either ditch the Icelandic part because you made him look like a horrible jerk, or B, yeah, continue doing it, but make sure you address how he got to America. It's like, how did he get to America? You might as well keep his sister in the picture. It makes perfect sense where it's like, there you go. Versus this where it's like, we have no idea how he got to America. No idea. And maybe he was born American, supposedly. So he was able to come back to America. But again, though, when did he come back? Did he come back for college? When did he come back? Oh yeah, I also forgot. Stupid lady.
Cops in Springfield.
Bad cops, bad cops. Bad cops, bad cops. Bad cops, bad cops. Bad cops, bad cops. Springfield cops are on the take. But what do you expect for the money we make? Whether in a car or on a horse, we don't mind using excessive force. Bad cops, bad cops. Bad cops, bad cops.
All right, boys.